any advice for someone like me who is very interested in marketing, living a passionate life? So how do you take a practice?
All right, so Martha, Beck, thank you so much for coming to Dream It, Launch It, Live It. You were phenomenal. Can you, so many great takeaways, and I'd love for you to just share a few tips and tricks with us today, with the launchers who are watching who couldn't make it.
Sure.
The first one, which I loved, is the truth test. So if entrepreneurs aren't sure what to do, whether to move forward on a certain decision or not, you have a few pieces of advice in terms of how to get in touch with our body, because our body is really what's...
Your body really is wiser than your mind in many cases. There's this instinctive thing. The brain, the cognitive part of the brain that thinks things through, can compute about 40 bits of information per second. But the part of the brain that is deeper and more instinctive and not verbal computes about 11 million bits per second. So accessing that, it helps to use your whole body, because that's what's tapped into this larger brain. So we try to think our way through problems when actually we should go with our gut more often. So I have a couple of ways to do that. First, just learn to scan your body from head to foot. And start with your feet, and it's like water coming up all the way to your head, and just scan everything. If there's tension or distress anywhere in your body, something's off. If you can get to the point where it feels like it's just relaxing, relaxation is always what you're looking for. Not so much a big excitement, just this. And paradoxically, at that moment, you also get stronger. A number of things happen then. Your blink rate goes down, your heart rate goes down, and you don't perspire. As soon as you start lying to yourself, your hands start to sweat. So it was something I've recently learned, is to take your thumb and your forefinger and just rub the nail of your thumb with your forefinger and feel the smoothness of it. And then you try saying something true, like I like fresh air.
I like fresh air.
And you just feel that, and then you say, I like food poisoning. I like the flu.
The flu!
And it feels sticky. The reason it feels sticky is that your finger has just a little bit of perspiration because you're not telling the truth. So if you're making a decision, you can say, okay, I should go with this deal at $100,000. And if it's smooth, that's a go ahead. If you say it and it gets sticky, you might want to readjust and find the right space.
Love that. So it's your own personal lie detector test.
Right, exactly.
When you're not sure what to do.
Yeah.
Can you explain, because we talk about the gut, and then we also talk about following your heart.
Right.
What's the difference? Are they two different things?
Well, obviously they're different in some ways. What's fascinating is that each of those two areas of the brain actually has kind of a little, area of the body has a little mini brain in it. So there are actual sort of neuron cells in the gut that communicate to the brain, and the heart has even more of them. They're called afferent nerves. So they actually are communicating with the brain their own conclusions. And the heart actually has the strongest sort of electromagnetic resonance of any part of the body, more than the brain does. So what's coming from the actual physical heart is going to inform your thinking more than most people realize.
So when launching and we say follow your dreams, follow your heart.
It's literal.
It's literal.
Yep.
Yes, I love that. Thank you. And talk to us about the little animal in the Central Park Zoo.
The marmoset effect.
The marmoset effect.
Yeah.
Can you explain the marmoset effect?
This is something that I teach my coaches, and it helps us learn where we're supposed to sort of intercede in a client's life. You'll be going along, someone will tell a story, and something grabs your attention. And the metaphor we use is that if you go to the zoo, you find these little animals, little primates called marmosets. They're the smallest primates. They're like little monkeys with long tails, but they look very human. They've got these adorable little faces and big bushy hair. And they're obsessed for some reason with bags. And I have no idea why, but this works any place you go, any zoo that has marmosets. Hold up a bag like your purse and just show them that it has an inside to it. And they're like scratching themselves and eating bugs or whatever, and then all of a sudden they're like, And they get obsessed, and they'll all come from different parts of the cage staring into the back. And then if you open it and show them, they're just like, oh my God! And they go nuts. They're like, they literally do, and then they try to touch it. That reaction, that's what the body does when something's interesting to you. And that's how you know your passion, is that inner marmoset starts to activate.
Love that. So pay attention to your inner marmoset. That when you're...
You have a whole zoo inside you.
I love that. And then one of the things that I'm just so fascinated about, especially with someone like you, is how do you manage your day? Like, so you write, you speak, you train. How do you manage it? Is there a discipline? Does it happen organically? Do you have a routine?
Well, one thing I do is I write a lot of things on my skin. I tried to get this off. This is to remind me to call the editor of a magazine who wanted to do a story with me. Anyway, yeah, that's one adaptation, but mainly I have really good people around me who, you know, I hired a VA who's been to a VA school. It's fabulous. It's so worth the money. I have an online calendar where, you know, various people that I trust can go in and alter the calendar if necessary. And I literally, no 2 days are the same. So I get up and I see what I'm doing the next day, and I just go with that. I used to try to keep it in my head. I can't do it anymore, but I have a system for it that is really, really wonderful.
Love that. And
Delegate.
Delegate. I have a friend who says delegate everything for the genius.
Oh, I like
Isn't that nice?
that.
Tom Cusack from the program.